All right, good afternoon, everybody. So excited to have you with us today. And I say us because I have one other person on the line with me. You cannot see his smiling face, but he's here waiting. So this is the Smart Ways Updating Your Online Profile, Leveraging Online Display and Social Media Session 2 with Vivial. That's me, Nicole Barker from Vivial, and the voice that I mentioned on the line, Scott McMeans from Refrigeration Sales Corporation. Scott, say hi to everybody.
Good afternoon, all. I'm glad you're here, and we look forward to sharing the experience and just updating everybody's mindset towards what we can do to really strengthen your digital and online presence.
Absolutely. Scott, I'm so excited to have you here today. So most of you should probably know of Scott, at least, or maybe you know him. He is the marketing manager over at RSC, Refrigeration Sales Corporation. Scott and I have had some really long conversations about how myself and Vivial can help you as a dealer really grow your online presence, but more specifically have a strategy on how you're going to grow your business. So just a couple things to tell you before we get started. We are going to have a Q&A towards the end. If you have any questions, there's a little chat box, I believe, to the right, unless you've moved it. You can write your question in there, and then our assistant here today, Kelly, is in the background, and she will let me know what those questions are when we get to that Q&A. If it's something you'd like me to address right then, just say, hey, this is an emergency question. Can we get an answer real quick? And we'll get that done. So today we're going to talk about 3 different areas: updating your online profile, leveraging online display ads, engaging with social media. We'll just jump right in. And Scott, I know you're very knowledgeable in how important your Google My Business page is. So just as a reminder to everybody, Google My Business is a page. When you Google your own business, it shows up on the right-hand side. There's some photos at the top and some information down towards the middle and the bottom. So it's really important to really tell Google, first and foremost, who you are, what you do, and where you do it. You may say, well, Nicole, am I really telling Google or am I telling my consumers? The answer is you're telling Google. You as a business owner have to tell Google who you are, what you do, and where you do it before Google can tell consumers those 3 things when they're looking. So updating your online profile. This is an example of a Google My Business listing. So I live in Lima, Ohio. We're over in the northwest corner of the state, and I use a company close to me because I know that their stuff isn't correct. The biggest thing that I can put out here to you guys today is be consistent. In whatever you do with your online presence on Google, please be consistent, right? So the second thing that you want to do is you want to claim your Google My Business listing. Now, I will tell you that you can do this yourself. Some of you may say, hey, Google calls me all the time and says it's going to be $19.95 to claim my Google business listing. I'm here today to tell you, you can claim it yourself. That is not Google calling you. That's a scammer calling you. And it doesn't cost $19.95 to claim that Google My Business listing. You can do it yourself for free. Why would I tell you that? Because it's the truth. So anyway, if you follow that red arrow down, you see where it says own this business. You just click on that and follow the prompts. The reason this is important is that it gives you an opportunity to tell Google who you are, again, what you do, where you do it. Make sure that you're telling Google if you're open, if you're closed, if you have revised hours, if you have revised services. List your correct service category. So if you look by that number 2, right underneath where it says website, Google reviews, heating contractor in Valley View, right? You want to make sure that information is correct. If you only work on furnaces, make sure you put that you're a heating contractor. If you do HVAC and plumbing, you can put those in there too. So the reason that I tell you to put all of that information in there along with your contact information and your varied services or hours is that consumers, when they go online to do a search, Google is going to look at that online business profile, your Google My Business page, and really see if you answer any of those questions that the consumer is looking for. Now on the back end, your Google My Business page can tell you a lot of information on how consumers are finding your business specifically. So for example, are they just typing in your business name? Or are they doing a search for an HVAC contractor near Lima, Ohio, or an HVAC contractor near Cleveland, or a furnace repair near whatever city you're in? Super important. Now, according to some recent studies, well, let me take a step back here. Number 3, request reviews on your Google My Business page. If you have some customers and they really like the work that you've done, request a review, right? And excuse me. Oops, hold on, sorry. Let me switch this up here. There, is that better? Sorry, I didn't know you guys saw my notes. I just got a notification. I was like, oh, technical.
We're good.
What can I say? It happens. Now I'm embarrassed. But moving on, ask for reviews. Ask consumers, ask your current customers to tell what you've done good, and know that sometimes they're going to tell you bad things, right? So according to some recent studies, negative reviews, and this is according to Harvard, a Harvard research study, negative reviews can cost your business 10% more per hire. Isn't that crazy, Scott?
I would say most people want to look at the reviews and they read the bad ones, they read the good ones, and they kind of try to balance them out. I think what we want to do is work with customers that we know we did a good job on and ask them right on the spot, can you send or can you get me a review? Because it's always difficult. And I think if I remember the statistics, within the first hour of service, somebody is likely to leave a review in the matter of 80% of the time. Every hour after that, it loses half of the percentage, meaning after 2 hours, it's likely that 40%, so on and so forth. So yes. What you want to do is find a way, whether it's little cards that have a barcode on them, or just where the web link could be, or simply ask them, could you go to Google and post a review for me? Granted, you're going to want to do that with the customers that you know you did a good job with. And one thing I will tell you as well, when you're dealing with Google reviews, you should do your best to answer all reviews, whether it's as simple as thank you so much for allowing us to be of service, to addressing somebody's concern when it's a potential negative review. Because one thing that happens when people look at reviews, they look at the negatives and they kind of pass over them unless there's a response from the company. And don't be argumentative. Don't tell somebody they were wrong. Simply say, thank you for your input. I appreciate you letting me know. Give me a call at this number. We'll work our way through making sure you're satisfied. That alone will satisfy a number of people looking at your reviews just to see what kind of company you are. Because if you dismiss bad reviews and don't respond to them, people are going to think even if something goes wrong, they're not going to fall. They're not going to be behind their statements. So I don't want to work with them. So what you want to put that face forward that people will appreciate what you're doing.
Exactly. And Scott said it best, right? Respond to every review that gets left for you. So I use a really simple 3-sentence rule when responding to bad reviews or negative reviews. They don't have to necessarily be bad. A negative review is not the end of the world, but here's what you should do. So sentence 1, acknowledge, and this is where you should be writing notes, right? But acknowledge that they had an issue. So that sentence number one could sound like, Mr. Customer, I know that I realize that you've had an issue with the service you've received from XYZ company. That would be your company. Sentence number two, don't take blame, but don't place blame. No name calling. So sentence number two would sound something like, it's our mission at XYZ company to make sure that our customers' needs are satisfied. And sentence number three should be something really simple. Give them somebody specific to call and talk to. Don't just name the office. Don't just say call the office, because they want to know that when they call, they're talking to somebody who can A, make a decision, and B, really hear what they're saying. So don't give them to somebody who's just going to be really gruff with them either. So sentence number three would sound something like, please give Nicole a call at 937-610-5630 to talk through the issues that you've experienced. So again, those three steps. Sentence number one, acknowledge they had an issue. Sentence number two, don't take blame, don't place blame. And sentence number three, give them an opportunity to contact somebody specific. Remember, it is 25 times more expensive to earn a new customer than it is to retain an existing one. Super, super, super important. So, excuse me, with your online profile, updating your online profile, online directories are something that are seldom talked about, but do play a big effect, have a huge effect on your map rankings. In any Google search result page, if you notice up at the top, there are those Google AdWords, and those are ads that people, businesses, spend money on to make sure that they're top and or the bottom of any page. Right underneath those ads is a map section, and those map section is those are businesses that are close in location and are relevant to what the consumer is looking for. So your online directories, and I tell people this all the time, and if you've had a conversation with me, you've probably heard this, but Google, Yahoo, Bing, and Facebook are the 4 most well-known online directories. Yelp is another one, and don't cringe, but Yelp can actually, when used as an online directory, can help a little bit. So there are about 170 online directories across the board. It depends, can change depending on your geographic location and your industry. In the HVAC industry, typically I see between 170 and 190 online directories. So if your information is not consistent, and what was the first thing one of the first things I told you, be consistent, right? If your information is not consistent on all of these online directories, you're going to see your map section where you're showing up suffer dramatically. This is just an example of the one company that I was looking at earlier, Brown's, here in Lima. They have 59 inconsistencies or errors on their online directories. And then in the map section, they're not showing up in the top 3. Meaning if I was a consumer looking for a furnace repair or anything like that, I would have to dig deeper to be able to find them. And consumers, they really don't want to have to dig deep for this information. They want to be able to find somebody right off the bat. So for you as a business owner, I think it's important to be found pretty quick. Now with these online directories, Scott, this is actually something that Vivial is helping you guys out with just a little bit. Have you seen an increase in activity within your online directories, like how you're showing up?
Yeah, I have to say, once we got into the program where you helped, or Vivial helped organize our online presence for ad displays and our online profile, it's just been a lot cleaner. And we have seen a intake or uplift in activity just coming to our page because we have a very specific set of words, phrases, and news feeds that we want people to search for in order to find us. So we've definitely seen an uptake, which has been great.
Awesome, awesome. So the next step here is leveraging online display ads. So online display ads, if you have never seen an online display ad, I'd be really surprised. So if you have ever gone online and let's just say you did some shopping for some shoes or tools, or maybe your significant other did some shopping for something you didn't know they were shopping for, but then you went to ESPN.com or FoxNews.com and you saw an ad on the side, sometimes at the top. AccuWeather's really good, Weather Channel's really good for the ad up at the top. You're like, what is that for? That's an online display ad. Sometimes I will refer to them so lovingly as stalker ads. These are ads that can be used for retargeting. And what I mean by that, and this is just some examples of potential online display ads. How these work is that they can be based on interest or intent. So if somebody's doing some searches for Google searches for carrier parts near me and they're up near Valley View, over on the left-hand side, that number one is an online display ad for Refrigeration Sales Corporation. So it can give just a general message based on what searches were happening or if they came to your website and didn't look at anything specific, okay? They can also be based on intent. So online display ad number two, if you see there, it's the carrier CFAD logo. Now it is the older CFAD logo, which is changed. But those are based on people who are searching for specific things. So for example, I put the UV lighting instrument in there, right? Call us today for germ-free air in your home, especially right now during COVID. And I know it's a lot of craziness and there are things happening. People are wanting to do things that are going to help their household be safe. And this is an effective way to create a message that kind of fits with what's happening. Some other messages that you can use in online display ads are specials. So if you have a maintenance plan or if you have just something that you do often, Cool Cash is another thing that I know that comes up for carrier dealers. You can use those in your co-op or your online display ads. And these are things that are co-op approved. And so we can talk about that at a later time. The one last thing that I'll pull out about this is make sure that you choose a partner that can create these online display ads for you and really target them the right way. Just as a reminder before we get into social media though, if you have any questions over on the right-hand side, there is a chat area. Please don't be afraid to write down a question. I encourage you to write down questions. There is a lot of information that we can share for you or share with you. And here's the other thing. If you have a question, there's probably somebody else that has a really similar question. So, but diving into social media, the last, definitely not the least important that we're going to talk about today. It's super important right now with COVID-19 to really find a way to reach out to your consumers, whether they be current customers, past customers, or people who maybe they don't know you yet, maybe they don't need you yet, but they're going to, and they're going to soon, right? So some of the things that we'll talk about are, with your profiles, information that messaging that you can present to consumers, your contact information, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Because I know a handful of you dealers are not in the office. So are they talking to an answering service? Are they talking to the receptionist that's working from home? Are they talking to you, the owner? It's also important. And then virtual quoting, we can get into that. So key components to crafting that effective messaging during COVID-19 is, it's important. It's very similar to what it was beforehand. But, just make sure that you are fluid, right? That there's a strategy behind what you're posting. Be responsive, make yourself available. And if you're not available, I know on Facebook, you can create an auto message. And that's something that if somebody messages you outside of hours that you don't really want to be answering questions, it will automatically send a message so that person isn't just left there hanging. Most times for consumers, if they reach out to you as the business and you leave them hanging for an hour or 15, 20 minutes, they'll just move on to the next guy. Don't let that happen to you. Keep your message simple, right? Be very clear, be very concise, and last and most important, be compassionate. You know, Scott, I saw a meme on Facebook the other day, and I'm a Facebook user. My kids laugh at me because I'm not using Instagram like they are, but they've told me that Facebook is for older people. You know, it is what it is. But I saw something on Facebook, a meme that said, you know, social media messages have gone from, hey, I'm a car manufacturer, buy from me, to, yes, COVID-19 has happened. We are empathetic to your plight. Buy a car from us. So their message hasn't changed. It's just they're adding a little bit of empathy in front of it. So I know we talked earlier a little bit about a value proposition. How can businesses use this, well, I guess what's happening, to really state their value proposition to customers?
Yeah, Nicole, from my perspective, I think what is the most important thing an organization can do as a dealer trying to connect with your consumer, with the person that's going to welcome you into their home or their place of business. The value proposition is very key right now. We think that people want to do business with people that they feel comfortable with and people that they trust. And if we're in a situation now where there's a lot of apprehension and there's a lot of standoffish people trying to make decisions, what they're looking for is somebody to help them through this pandemic, the situation of COVID-19. So what you're looking for now is, how do you position yourself as a business that people want to embrace what you're telling them? So if you get on the web or you get on social media, whatever, or what your vehicle to get in touch with them is, I think you need to make sure that you differentiate yourself with positivity, showing who you are, what you're made of, what your business is doing, and clearly what you stand for as a business. I highly recommend that you put your COVID-19 plan on your webpage and submit it through your social media. Let people see, oh, this is what ABC Heating and Cooling is doing. I feel comfortable since they have their whole plan laid out, they communicated it, and whenever I talk to them, this is exactly what I know I feel comfortable with. We want to position you to be in the best possible light for your customers to want to continue doing business with you. So this messaging here with being fluid, responsive, simple, and compassionate is 100% on par with what we want to have happen. But I think in addition to that step-by-step strategic or tactical way of doing it, you want to make sure that you have a positive message that customers can fall in love with in order to do business with you. Because there's people out there that are doing a lot of business and they're trying to get more, and that they're doing it with, I don't know. But for me personally, I would rather do business with somebody that is transparent right up front. I know what they're doing, I know how they're working, and I feel comfortable having them in my home. So I think if we get a chance to find a way to differentiate you, this is an excellent way of doing it. And having your plans and your strategy right there on the webpage would really go a long way to make people feel comfortable about doing business with you. And just because it's on the webpage doesn't mean that's the only place you communicate it. If you're doing social media, like we said, if you're doing text messaging, if you have somebody answering phones, it would be really important when they're trying to schedule the appointment with somebody to communicate it once again. It's okay for people to hear what you're doing more than once because it solidifies the truth of what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better, Scott. So just some ways that you can drive sales through thoughtful content and messaging. I have 3 examples on this page. So like Scott was saying, acknowledging the COVID-19 impact, saying, hey, customers and associates, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing to kind of combat this. This is what we've done with our employees. This is what we're doing as we go into homes. It's all so important just to share that message. One thing that I bring up to a lot of different businesses, and I want to make sure that I talk about it today really quick, is that social media can be a drama-filled, crazy pot, right? And you may have personal feelings about Facebook, about Instagram, about Twitter, about LinkedIn, and that's great, that's fine. But the whole purpose behind your social media marketing is to be where your customers are, where consumers are, so when they're searching, they can find you. So I just encourage you to just not be almost selfish in your thinking. It's not about what you want to do, it's what kind of customers do you want, and then being where they are, right? So it's super important to claim your profiles. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, right, is all a good thing. So the second type of post that you can put on social media, a limited time, special offer. So Combs actually did a post here that was a special offer. So they get a check, a thorough check on their AC systems, and there's that call to action, right? Call now, call us, and we'll get you scheduled. Before I get into that third one, because I've got some information on that, there is, and this is another time where you should be taking notes. There's something that I've used for many, many years in marketing. It's called the 10-4-1 rule. For every 15 posts on social media that you have, 10 posts, 10 of those 15, should be information that you're sharing from another source. So you can be sharing from Carrier. HVAC Partners has a lot of information on social media posts that you can be doing. You can do it from other HVAC companies that are sharing some really good information. You can be sharing from studies, from trends, anything like that that relates to home comfort, HVAC. It can be funny memes. That's okay too. Animals, puppies and kittens, and smiling babies always perform very well on Facebook and Instagram. Videos do amazing things. So share those. So 10 things, 10 posts on social media are something you've shared from another source. So for the 4 should be 4 posts of content that you've created as the business owner, the office manager, social media manager, whatever. 4 pieces of content that you've created yourself. So that can be a live video of somebody, doing some work, right? Or if you have an office party when everybody gets back to the office, you can do a live video and people can talk about what they missed while they were gone. Another thing that you can do is you can do a live video showing consumers for just 30 seconds, 30, 45 seconds, some things that they can be thinking about when looking at a new system. So for example, if you're out by a system that's run down, you do the live video, you have somebody recording you, talk about things that the consumer can be looking at to determine whether they need a new HVAC system or if they can just have repairs done. Another thing that you can do, employee highlights. It's kind of cool to get mentioned by the company that you work for. It makes you feel important, kind of puffs your chest out a little bit. So take some time to recognize the people at your company that do a really good job. And it could be good. One other idea that I had for you is customer testimonials. Don't doubt the power of another consumer saying that you did a really good job through a video. I know it can be kind of hard to get, but if you have a customer that you have done work for a while and you have a smartphone, right? If you have a smartphone, you can take it out and just ask them if they'd be willing to do it. Most people will probably say yes if you've asked them nicely, and just say, okay, give me 20 seconds about what you like about what we do for you. and then you can post that on social media. Don't forget the tips and tricks videos, and let consumers ask you a question via video, okay? So this last one that we're gonna look at, this number 3, it talks about new services offered, more specifically, virtual quoting. So I know the state of Ohio is supposed to start opening up over the next few weeks, starting in May 1st. And it's going to be a slow process. Virtual quoting is a really great way, a really good service to offer for your consumers. It is something that you can do via Facebook Messenger, you can video chat, Zoom, and there are a handful of other options you can use, FaceTime, Skype, but just as a way to maybe say, hey, consumer, we do virtual quoting, we'll get on a video chat with you, and you can show us your system, and you always have that person that says, well, it's making a funny noise. This gives you an opportunity to hear that funny noise, right? So they don't have to describe it to you. If you want some tips on how you can effectively do that, you can let me know and I can give those to you. And it'll be good. It'll be good. So how to post. So here are just some of my tips on how to post to your social media platforms, whether you use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, whatever it is you have, right? So for everything but Snapchat, make sure you look for an all-in-one platform. Ensure that you can post across multiple networks. Use a tool that will allow you to add photos or videos to your post. Don't just write posts that have just text. Include that video, include that photo. It's going to do so much better. Look for a solution that lets you schedule your post for a future date or time. And what I mean by that is on Facebook, you can actually create multiple posts and you can schedule them out for a later date. So for example, if you have, let's just say you have an hour and a half on Sunday afternoon that, is normally just your time to go fishing or whatever it is, and you want to use it for some business purposes. Maybe it's just getting ready for the rest of the week. Sit down, schedule out your posts for your Facebook, for your Instagram, for your Twitter, for your LinkedIn, and then throughout the week, you can just check if you get notifications. And then last, but definitely not least in this, make certain that you can track the impact your social media posts are having. If you're posting 15 posts every single week or every 2 weeks, and nobody's liking them, nobody's following you, nobody's commenting, nobody's sharing, there's something happening with what you're posting. It's not getting to the right people. Last but not least, I'm going to throw out here, don't be afraid to throw some money behind these posts. Social media advertising is probably one of the most cost-effective ways to make sure your message gets out to thousands of people. For example, I have one client right now, and Vivial is handling their social media. We manage all of the pieces of their social media. We've been able to put some advertising money behind a few of their posts, and they're getting typically 9.5% to 16% engagement. That means that people are liking, commenting, and sharing the posts that we're putting out there for them. Industry average is typically around 3.5%. So way better engagement rates. If you just make sure that you're putting your information out there, and if you have questions on how to do that, we can help you with that. So one last thing to put in here today, and we are almost wrapped up. Again, if you have any questions, make sure to put them down in that chat. Or here in just a couple minutes, I'm going to give you information for Scott and myself. You can always get a hold of us after this. But here at Vivial, we want to help you engage with your customers. We do have packages for digital marketing solutions that are specific to Refrigeration Sales Corporation dealers. Just a couple little things here that we're doing just to help out during COVID-19 for our potential customers is that if you purchase a marketing platform, and I can get into that in further detail, you're going to receive a free promo video in addition to your package that you can use on your social media, you can use on your website to really highlight those things that you do. And you're going to get 1 month free. All setup fees are waived. And I mean, you can read the last bullet point there. So it provides a lot of great value. So if anybody has any questions, you can, like I said, always reach out to Scott or myself. We'll be glad to help you. Finishing just a few minutes early today because we can. Scott, any last comments today?
Yeah, I think the content is really helpful for people to get a framework of what's important and how to tactfully go, or what's the tactics or steps to getting things done. What I would like to recommend, or at least have a conversation about at some point, is making sure what you're doing is on brand for your business. And what I mean by that is, if you think about your business is an HVAC business, most likely you're a carrier dealer, right? So you've made some decisions to kind of funnel yourself down into what kind of business you're going to be. At some point, you're going to need to identify what you're going to be when you grow up. And what I mean by that is, what type of clientele do you want? What type of services do you offer? Are you to be the value price guy that comes in and does bare bones? Or are you going to be the top line, very value added type services? And somewhere in between, there's a number of different steps you can take. But think about what your business is going to be, what you want it to be, and project that on brand throughout all of your platforms, whether that's online, social media, your print material, whatever you're going to do. One of the things that I think is very important is making sure that you identify who you are, so people know what they can expect. And when they come looking for you, they're looking for you specifically because of what you offer. A lot of different things can be used on social media. You know, think about what Nicole made comment to. Post a number of different things throughout the day or throughout the week. Get as many people driven to your social media and digital platforms as possible, because you want them to have that interaction and that connection with you. You can post things, anything from pictures, before and after pictures. You can give customer reviews or testimonials. You could write up a story about a very complicated system that had a problem and how you diagnosed it, fixed it, and then ended up having a satisfied customer. It's really good to have something for people to grab onto and sink their teeth into, so they understand this is the kind of work you do. And one of the things that I would recommend that you do is come up with a number of helpful hints that you post online or through your social media that gives people information. It's not specific about what you do, but it's specific about the things that you help them recover from or assist them in fixing. In other words, talk about how to repair or how to take a look at your system before the heating or the cooling season. Take a look at the indoor air quality and how you might want to be able to position your business to take advantage of somebody that's looking for that. It's always interesting to present information for people, and you never know what they're going to bite on, but it's interesting to present information to people because they're looking for content. Yes. And if together with a good picture, a good video, or some kind of neat story, people will respond to it. So instead of just saying, we're having a 10% price discount this week, put out something that says, you know what? Pets are fantastic in the home, but if you thought about all the pet hair that goes into your HVAC system, when's the last time you checked your filter? Something like that, and go make that consistent. You can actually create your own little, you know, ask Tommy or whatever you want to do to make it consistent from every customer that sees what you have to offer. It's not just trying to sell them something, but you're providing a service. I think that's a key element to differentiating who you are and what you want to be. And I am more than happy, as I do all the work I do with RSC in the marketing world, I'm more than happy to sit down with any of you to talk about your business strategy, how you look for what you want to do moving forward, with your digital stuff, but also just your overall marketing strategy, what you want to see your business do when it grows up. So think about that as an opportunity to engage and work with RSC. I'd love the opportunity to do it because as we keep communicating to all our customers, we are here to help with relentless service to customers. That's why we're here, is to make you successful. So I'm happy to be a part of that for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott, for joining us today. Everybody else that's on this, thank you so much for joining us. My information is there. Scott's information is there. We can schedule some personal chat time if that makes sense for you, or if you just want to shoot me an email if you have a question, that's great too. We are wrapping up right now. Just so you know, later today you will receive a follow-up email that just really will let you replay this webinar, so you can jot down some of those things I was telling you earlier, because I know sometimes they talk fast. But if you in the future ever want to talk about who you want to be when you grow up, as Scott put it, we are here for you. I know Scott, I know RSC, Rhonda, and Doug, Cindy, who handles the co-op, and a million other things. We are here for you, for the dealers. When you succeed, we succeed. So with that, we are all set for the day. We're getting out of here at 2.5 minutes early. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining us. Oh, one last thing. Next Monday, we'll be back at 12:30 for some more topics. If you've already registered, you're registered already for the next one. And then we will have 3 more sessions after this. So have a great day. Be safe, everybody. Bye.
Bye now.